Throughout human history, the idea of the third eye has fascinated, inspired, and mystified seekers of truth. From ancient temples carved with the eye of Horus to the delicate lotus symbols of Eastern mysticism, cultures across time and continents have pointed to a hidden center of sight within us, a portal not of flesh and blood, but of perception, insight, and inner knowing. This symbolic eye, gazing not outward upon the physical world but inward upon the subtle realms of thought, dream, and consciousness, has become a timeless metaphor for awakening. But what if the third eye is more than a metaphor? What if nestled deep within the folds of the human brain lies a tiny pinecone-shaped gland that science has only begun to understand? A biological third eye capable of influencing our sleep, our sense of time, our moods, and perhaps even our access to dimensions of consciousness that lie beyond the waking world. This small organ, the pineal gland, sits at the very center of our brains, guarded by layers of evolution, almost as if nature knew it carried a secret. The pineal gland is one of the most mysterious parts of the human body. About the size of a grain of rice, it is shaped like a pine cone, hence its name, and ancient cultures revered it as the seat of the soul. French philosopher René Descartes called it the principal seat of the soul, and the place where all our thoughts are formed. While modern science has not embraced Descartes' assertion wholesale, what we do know is that the pineal gland has a profound influence over our biology. It produces melatonin, a hormone that regulates our sleep-wake cycles, and helps synchronize our circadian rhythms with the day-night patterns of the planet. Our pineal gland is photoreceptive. In many lower vertebrates, it evolved directly from a photoreceptor that acted as an actual light-sensitive organ, a literal third eye. Even today, some reptiles and amphibians still have a parietal eye, a photosensitive organ on top of their heads, connected to their pineal complex. These ancient biological remnants hint at a time when the pineal's light-sensing abilities were more direct, but in humans that capacity has moved inward. Instead of reacting to light directly on the skin, our pineal gland responds to information about light levels communicated by our eyes. It uses this information to signal our bodies when to sleep and when to wake. But beyond this critical biological function, why has the pineal gland become so intimately tied to mystical experiences and spiritual traditions? Across ancient civilizations, the third eye has always symbolized a gateway to higher perception. In Hinduism, the Ajna chakra, often depicted in the middle of the forehead, is seen as the seat of intuition, wisdom, and psychic vision. Yogic texts describe its opening as the beginning of spiritual enlightenment, where one moves beyond the illusions of duality and sees the world as it truly is. In Buddhism, the third eye represents the ability to see beyond the material world, to glimpse into the nature of existence itself. Egyptian mythology gave us the Eye of Horus, a powerful symbol of protection, royal power, and good health. Intriguingly, the Eye of Horus, when overlaid on a cross-section of the human brain, aligns with key anatomical features surrounding the pineal gland, including the corpus callosum and thalamus. Some esoteric researchers believe this remarkable resemblance is evidence that ancient Egyptians knew of the pineal gland's significance. In Christian mysticism, references to this single eye appear as well. In the book of Matthew it is written, "If thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light." Many have interpreted this passage as a cryptic reference to the third eye and its ability to illuminate the mind and spirit with divine awareness. But what does modern science say about the pineal gland's potential to unlock inner vision or higher states of consciousness? Some researchers have speculated that the pineal gland may produce trace amounts of dimethyltryptamine, or DMT, an extraordinarily powerful psychedelic compound sometimes called the spirit molecule. This idea, popularized by Dr. Rick Strassman's research in the 1990s, suggests that under certain conditions, like birth, near-death experiences, or deep meditation, the pineal gland might release DMT, producing intense visions and altered states of awareness that are often described as spiritual awakenings. While the presence of DMT in the pineal gland has yet to be definitively proven in humans, the theory continues to inspire both scientific curiosity and spiritual speculation. More practically, we know the pineal gland's ability to produce melatonin has profound effects on our mental and physical health. Disruptions to the circadian rhythm, whether from excessive artificial light at night, irregular sleep schedules, or stress, can reduce melatonin production and disturb the delicate balance of hormones. This imbalance has been linked to depression, anxiety, immune dysfunction, and even cancer risk. Practices that support natural circadian rhythms, like exposure to morning sunlight, reducing blue light at night, and maintaining regular sleep patterns, not only benefit overall health but could also be seen as ways of caring for our third eye. Yet, for many spiritual seekers, the third eye represents more than sleep cycles or hormone balance. It is the place where dreams are born, where imagination takes flight, and where transcendent states of awareness become possible. Meditative practices designed to awaken the third eye often involve focusing attention on the space between the eyebrows, visualizing a bright indigo light or spinning vortex. Over time, practitioners report increased intuition, vivid dreams, and a sense of connection to something greater than themselves. Ancient yogis spoke of siddhis, extraordinary abilities said to emerge as the chakras awaken, including clairvoyance, telepathy, and knowledge of past lives. While mainstream science remains skeptical of such claims, modern neuroscience has shown that focused meditation can change the structure and function of the brain. Studies have demonstrated increased cortical thickness in regions associated with attention, emotional regulation, and sensory processing among experienced meditators. Whether or not these changes lead to psychic abilities, they point to the brain's remarkable capacity to evolve through inner practice. One of the most intriguing aspects of the pineal gland is its vulnerability to calcification. As we age, calcium deposits can accumulate in the pineal gland, a process known as pineal gland calcification. High levels of fluoride exposure, poor diet, and lack of sunlight have all been linked anecdotally to accelerated calcification. Some traditions and holistic health advocates claim that decalcifying the pineal gland, through dietary changes, detox practices, or meditation, can help restore its function and enhance spiritual perception. Scientific evidence for these practices is limited, but the interest they inspire highlights the deep human desire to awaken this mysterious part of ourselves. Carl Jung, the father of analytical psychology, wrote extensively about symbols like the third eye. He believed symbols are bridges between the conscious mind and the deeper unconscious. The third eye, in Jungian terms, could be seen as an archetype of inner vision, a way for us to connect with the parts of ourselves that lie beyond ordinary awareness. Dreams, synchronicities, and moments of profound insight often seem to emerge from this deeper well of the psyche, offering guidance that feels both personal and universal. In recent years, a new wave of scientific interest has emerged around psychedelics and their potential to heal depression, anxiety, PTSD, and addiction. Compounds like psilocybin and LSD act on serotonin receptors in the brain, including those in the regions near the pineal gland. These substances have been shown to temporarily dissolve the rigid patterns of the default mode network, the brain system of habitual thinking, and induce mystical-type experiences characterized by a sense of oneness, timelessness, and deep emotional meaning. Such findings suggest that the biology of the brain and the mystical experiences of the soul may not be so far apart after all. So where does the truth lie? Is the third eye a literal gateway to other dimensions, a biological relic of our evolutionary past, a poetic symbol of self-awareness, or some combination of all three? Perhaps the power of the third eye lies not in choosing one interpretation over another, but in recognizing that our capacity for perception is more profound than we typically allow ourselves to believe. In a world that often encourages us to look outward, to chase achievements, compare ourselves to others, and measure success in material terms, the third eye calls us back to the inner landscape. It invites us to observe the patterns of our own thoughts, the origins of our emotions, and the quiet whispers of intuition that guide us toward our deepest truths. It reminds us that wisdom is not something we find outside ourselves, but something that awakens when we turn inward and see clearly. From a spiritual perspective, the opening of the third eye is the beginning of seeing beyond illusion. In Vedantic philosophy, the world we perceive with our ordinary senses is Maya, a veil of appearances that obscures the true nature of reality. The third eye, in this context, pierces the veil, allowing us to recognize the divine play underlying all forms. This awakening is not about acquiring supernatural powers, but about shedding the false self and realizing our unity with all that is. From a scientific perspective, studying the pineal gland helps us understand the delicate interplay between light, hormones, and mood. It helps us appreciate how our bodies are intimately connected to the rhythms of the earth and the cosmos. It teaches us that caring for our sleep, our exposure to natural light, and our mental health are not just acts of self-care, but of honoring the intricate intelligence of nature. Where these perspectives meet, a deeper understanding emerges. The third eye is both a biological organ and a symbol of consciousness. It is a place where inner and outer worlds intersect. It is the point at which our physical existence and our spiritual potential converge. As we seek to awaken our third eye, we are not turning our backs on science. We are embracing the fullness of our humanity. We are recognizing that consciousness is the most intimate and mysterious part of existence, and that exploring it with humility and wonder is one of the most important journeys we can undertake. When we meditate, dream, create art, or sit in silent contemplation, we give the third eye space to open. We invite insight to rise from the depths of the psyche. We reconnect with the sense of magic and possibility that childhood once gave us so freely, before the weight of the world taught us to doubt. In that space of stillness, where thoughts slow and awareness expands, we may glimpse the truth that sages have always known, that there is more to life than the material, that we are more than our bodies and stories, and that each of us carries within a spark of the same boundless light. This is Vedira, where ancient wisdom and modern science come together to reveal the hidden dimensions of ourselves. The third eye and the pineal gland remind us that we are not merely observers of the universe, we are the universe observing itself. To awaken this eye is to remember who we truly are.